And we're live. Hello, the amazing Sandra Bartlett is with us this week. Hello, Sandra. How are you, Sandy?
I'm fabulous, Nick. And yourself?
You are fabulous. You are absolutely fabulous. And I'm doing great. I have my Christmas decorations up. It is the last Tuesday night mindset, mental health, and mindfulness before. That's exciting.
And hasn't it come around quick?
Holy cow, it has been an absolute blow away. Yes, it's been good. Yeah, what is this? I think this is something like our 45th, 48th, 45th, I think, Tuesday night that we've done.
Amazing. Well done.
Boom. So that's pretty awesome. I'm excited about that. And we're taking a couple weeks off for Christmas. We're having, for everyone that doesn't know that's in the group or is following us on the Facebook groups or in YouTube, we're taking off a few weeks. We'll be back on the 12th of Jan, back into it. And but we're taking some time off even with workouts. So we have obviously this Wednesday night workout and then Sunday boot camp. We're having a special Christmas Sunday boot camp. So we're going to have workout. We're going to have a little barbecue. We're going to have some people together. It's going to be good times. A lot of people are getting in on that. Make sure you reply and get your ticket because guys, we need to know how many people we have coming. And tickets are disappearing quickly. So we have quite a bit of people have already replied to that. So excited. And like I said, we'll be back on the 12th and then Wednesday boot camp right after that. So back into it. I believe we're coming back for Thursday or for the 13th. But we're going to have a full-time schedule for you. And we're going to have new things coming in the new year, Sandy, that you and I will be talking about as it comes down. But let's talk about where we are today. And then we'll come back to that. Today's topic is challenges for success through story. Is that right? Did I say that right?
Exactly.
I struggled with that twice today. Even when I put it into the title, I still struggled with it. And then I asked you, did I say it right? Before we came on, and I said it wrong again. And then I said, I don't know. I'm not totally sure I said it right. But where are you with this? What is your we talk about this every week? And for those that don't know, every week that Sandy and I talk about what we're coming on when we come on, and we talk about what theme we have. And the theme of the month, okay, Craig Merchant was on, okay, and Craig talked about his story, okay, and how it was really tough, but you had to, get through and how he got through, and the challenges to, what he's done with his mental health, okay. Justin did a meditation for us around anxiety, okay, and dealing with anxiety during this difficult, holiday time, wrapping up the end of the year, stress of buying presents, spending money, is there enough money, blah, 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 all these things, okay? And now we're going to be talking about that. So start us off, Cindy, what was your mindset, what was your thought around this process, around the process of storytelling?
Nick, the thing that I want to share with people today, and it's something that I've learned and dived deep into just in this last month or so, not just for myself, but for my clients as well. Have you ever felt that there's just a story that runs in your head day after day after day? And there's often times where you feel that you can't control that story?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like usually the stress around it, usually something that's stressful.
It's normally something that's stressful, or it's something that could upset you or frustrate you. And then what actually happens is these mirrors that we have facing out here, where we're giving to people, they flick straight back into here. And then we go inward and we go internal, and we start this continuous chatter that just goes on in our head. Now, if we actually pay attention to that continuous chatter, we will pick up a pattern to that chatter, which is actually our story. And that's the story that we go to whenever we're feeling pressured, whenever we're feeling stressed, or whenever we're feeling frustrated, for example. Now, we've got many different stories up here that we run. We run one around frustration, anger, happiness, playfulness, disappointment, and all of these stories run around in our head. Now, with those stories, they then bring along a thought. A thought results in an emotion, and emotion results in an action. Now, we all know that the actions that we take is what moves us forward or moves us back from achieving the result that we're wanting to achieve. And that's what I want to talk to people specifically in that area tonight. I want to ask you, what's the story that you're running around the whole gathering of Christmas and what goes on at Christmas? Christmas is a beautiful time of the year. It's a lovely time of the year for the family to get together and for family and friends to be together and to celebrate and to reflect on the year that we've had. But it's not that way for everybody. And there are a lot of people out there that struggle on a mental health element when it comes to Christmas. There's people out there that are dead set lonely come Christmas because they are on their own. And I want to ask a lot of those people this evening, what is the story that you're running that's telling you that you're going to be upset at Christmas time? Or I'm going to see Uncle Joe, and I haven't seen Uncle Joe for 12 months, and every time I see him, he loses his shit and, blah, blah, blah. So what's the stories that we're running around Christmas? Now, as you can appreciate, whatever we're focusing on is what we're going to attract. Now, I'm quite confident that by now the listeners know what the law of attraction is and manifesting is. And that's about you putting these thoughts out there into the universe and asking the universe to respond. Now, whether you're actually asking the universe to respond or not, it will give you what you're asking for. Now, if you're focusing on the fact that Christmas is going to be difficult, that it's going to be hard, that it's going to be super busy, that you're not going to have any time, and that you're going to be stressed, you will actually manifest that for your Christmas period before you even get there. So what I want to do this evening is just remind people, be really aware about where your thoughts are come Christmas, and how are you talking about Christmas? How are you feeling about Christmas? How are you seeing Christmas play out for yourself and your family? We can all, with this knowledge, we can all take responsibility for our own behaviours and our own attitudes around this particular beautiful family event. And especially this year when we've all experienced so many different heartaches and things that we haven't been able to attend, because they're one side of the country and you might be the other side of the country, all those sorts of things all around COVID. And this year it could be really special that you could have a beautiful, harmonious Christmas because you've checked in with yourself and you've thought about your mindset before you get there. Now, Christmas is also a period where it's about the giving. It's not about the receiving. And so many of us, I'd like to say ignorantly, are in relationships where we don't realise that we've got a mindset around, what does this relationship give me? So what do I get? Well, I challenge everybody that this year, don't think about what you can get out of a relationship. Think about what you can give to a relationship. Because relationships are all around us. Life is a relationship, whether it's a relationship with your child, whether it's a relationship with mum, dad, or Uncle Joe. It really doesn't matter. It's a relationship. So let's turn up our gratitude this year for Christmas, and let's think about, how can I give to this relationship? How can I help the rest of my family to belong, and how can I help the rest of my family to know that I'm there for them this year at Christmas? And that's by the power of giving. Give a smile, give a laugh, be a little bit playful come Christmas time, and really think about where your mindset is at Christmas and how much difference you can make for somebody.
I think you hit on a couple of amazing things. Obviously, you do every time, but one thing you talked about, like earlier, was the subconscious that you have. Okay, that you manifest the feelings you have, and that's something that that story that you have, and people have that all the time. It's something that I see all the time. I see. When I start feeling that and seeing that in myself, I say it to people all the time. When you start to feel that, you have to acknowledge it. Okay, not dwell on it, but acknowledge it. Okay. So if you're feeling stressed, you're worrying about it. Why? Okay. Let's acknowledge that. Let's acknowledge that problem, acknowledge that emotion. You feel it. Okay. You have that emotion. Okay. Because, like you brought up, you seeing Uncle so-and-so, you didn't have a great relationship with them. I have the, emotion that the story that's in my head of missing my family, obviously, haven't been back to America to see my family in quite a number of years. Okay. I don't see my mother and father, haven't seen them. My son is now, he's turning 6. He hasn't seen him since he was 2. Okay. So things are starting to happen. We're starting to have those feelings. Actually, he was just before he was 2. So it's really, those emotions come up. You have to acknowledge them and then move past that, like you said, because you sit and dwell in that, you're going to start to create more of a problem than you actually have. Okay. Which I totally agree with.
Yeah, when you have those problems, Nick, whether they're good feelings or whether they're poor feelings is immaterial. But there's a couple of really important steps that you can take when you become aware of these feelings. Is first and foremost, find out, ask yourself, where is this feeling sitting? Is it sitting in my chest? Is it sitting in my arm, in my leg? Find out where it's actually sitting on your body. And then ask yourself, what shape is that feeling? Is it big or is it small? Give it a colour, and also work out whether it's close to you or whether it's far away from you. And sit in that feeling and feel that feeling for about 30 seconds and take a big 2 or 3 really big deep breaths. Now, as you breathe in, breathe into that feeling, but as you breathe out, when you finish breathing out, say the word release. So it's release. And then after the third one, you actually say release. And when you come to break that state, you actually say thank you. Thank you, and the word amen. And what
I agree. I've done that, and I still actually do. So when I sit in that space, a lot of the times you'll feel it. Okay, like you said, if it's in the body part. Okay, is it in your head? Is it in? I feel things on my shoulders a lot more than most. Like I feel it right on my shoulder. And I'll put my hand on my shoulder and my hand on my head, and I'll take deep breaths, and then I imagine myself in the space of that problem. Okay, when that last time I had this, so like for example, when was I? Where was I when I had that emotion that it ties me to missing my family? I'm inside. I'm in my father's house, for example. I'm having Christmas. Remember the tree? I said, and then I just say, I release the value. So I just release. And I let it go. And I've found before, I don't know if you have, but a veil will come down. It was like, swoop, and that emotion's complete. That you're in that state and in that place, and it's like a white sheet gets dropped.
Yes.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
It's,
and it's
incredibly powerful.
And the thing is that you can use this for all of the feelings that come over you, good, bad, or otherwise. If there's something that is unresourceful for you, you can use this method to clear that feeling. Now, when we clear those feelings and we take away that sense of pressure, we're also allowing our adrenal gland to rest, because what comes with pressure is a release of cortisol.
Yep.
And cortisol comes from our adrenal gland. Now, unfortunately, because of the lifestyle that we lead, we don't give our adrenal gland enough time to rest and to recoup. Hence why there's many of us that suffer with adrenal gland fatigue. And that's brought on by stress and by pressure. So being able to do something as simple as this breathing exercise allows us to nourish our body. It allows us to give our body time to recoup and to stand by us, in our latter years, in our younger years. But, most importantly, stand by us to support us in the time of need, that we do really need that boost of cortisol. Whereas on a day-to-day basis, if we can control this with our breathing and being aware of where we're at, where that feeling sits, and release it from us, it gives our entire body a much better chance to work the way it should be working. So,
yeah, absolutely. Again, another thing you hit on earlier was you said you're talking about giving and relationships that you have with people, and I found, and I'm sure you see this, you could value that I have this, is that sometimes I will, and I know others that do that give or place too much value in other people, okay, and other people's feelings about them, okay. And this is, again, that's another exercise that works really good in that, and asking, or actually when you're doing that is removing that value, because as you give more of yourself and give more value to yourself, you lose that part of you. So you need to retain that back and bring that back to yourself, and not spending that time where you're actually pulling that value back from people. You're actually giving, and you'll have the opposite. I know you'd say this. It has the opposite reaction, okay, and it becomes a one-way street where it's only out, and you're not getting that back.
And that's where it's important, even though not having classes for the next couple of weeks and not doing these things on a Tuesday or a Monday night. That's why it's really important that all of us stick to our routines over this period of time. Don't bring in something new. Stick to something that you've been doing for quite a few weeks, that that has stood you in good stead, because that will help to refuel and to keep your tank filled, so that when you are giving, you've got that much more to give.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
So, and just remember, ladies and gentlemen, that whatever it is that you're focusing is what you're going to get. So focus on the fact that you are okay, that you have got everything within you to be your solution, and you've got everything within you to be the lady or the gentleman that you want to be on any given day, in any given moment.
Yep.
But most importantly, know that your routines over this period of time, think about the 80-20 rule, because over this period of time, if you can do those routines 80% of the time, that will stand you in great stead when we come back on the 12th of January and you pop back into those classes and things like that. And just remember that for anybody to shift a focus, you've got to create movement. You've got to create physiology. So if you're in a space and you're feeling this frustration, or you're feeling a weight or a pressure, by all means, do the breathing exercise and release it and let that value go, as Nick was saying, but then change your physiology. Don't continue to sit in the same place. Don't continue to sit on the same seat or be in the same room. Go for a walk for 5 minutes. Change up the physiology. You'll notice that whenever you're in a place and that feeling comes over you, quite often you'll actually be looking down. So you'll be looking into the past, or you'll be looking into where you're at in that moment. Now, if we then create some movement, just think about it. For me to get up from this chair, I have to look up. So what happens when I look up is I'm looking at my future, because the future's up here, the past is down here, and straight now is straight ahead. So if I'm lifting my chin, even just the slightest bit to stand up, I'm now looking at my future. And that creates the momentum to get up and move. Now, when we get up and move, it changes our entire physiology, which means that we can't possibly continue to feel that pressure because our physiology is changing. And when we change our physiology, we then grab hold of this story and we change the story. Because remember that we're moving forward. Now, we can influence what we're doing in the future. We can't change to what happened 30 seconds ago, but we can influence what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds by the actions that we take now. And that's
absolutely.
forward.
You put a really good one in there. That, like you said, getting up for a walk and just that physical exercise. You're absolutely right. Looking to the future, but exactly to go back to like the physical movement, talking about not having classes and not having this. It's really easy to fall back into previous patterns. Okay, it's a comfort thing. Okay, if you've been doing, going to classes, you've been coming out, to our workouts, you've been seeing yourself following along on Facebook, doing these things in the group, getting into your routines, especially this time of the year when there's lots to drink, lots to eat. None of it's good. Always bad influences everywhere. Okay, it's very easy to fall into that break out of routine. So you talk to your coach and have a plan. What you mean, like have a plan, Sadie, right? What are you going to do, come, next Wednesday, a week from now. Okay. We're talking the day before, a couple days before Christmas. And the emotions are high, right? Okay. Emotions are high, or what are you going to do? You're going to wake up every morning and sit in front of the couch and the TV. Are you going to wake up in the morning and go for a walk? What are your plans to keep, yourself going in your fitness plan, and how are you going to recover from this? So if you take, these, and it's not something I encourage, but having those cheat days, okay, where you have a couple of days off, get a little loose for Christmas, have a little too many drinks, how are you going to recover, in the next day? Okay, so you get into this, your routine. If you were to use, the next 3 weeks and do nothing, something I always say, and this, I'm sure you've heard me say this, your next 30 days are going to set up the following 90 days. So if you do nothing in the next month, you are going to get nothing out of the next 90 days past that, between now and the end of March.
And the thing is, don't forget that it's not necessarily doing a really hard workout that you need to be thinking of. You Correct. Can put the kids on bikes, go to a park, you can have a game with the kids, you can play a ball game with the kids and run around the oval, you can walk, you can swim, you can practice yoga, you can do Pilates, you can do all of those sorts of things. So if you happen to be off work and you've got the family there at home and you don't always get the time to do some of those things, now is the perfect time to step in and do those things. It's the perfect time to take that little bit of extra time with the kids on a push bike, or even yourself on a push bike if you're fortunate enough to have a push bike. It's those sorts of things. It is a mindset, and there's one thing that we can do around that mindset, and it's not even something that we need to rely on somebody else for, is very early in the piece when we're setting our goal and we're setting our why, we're also setting the value of why we're on this journey. So what is it that this result that I'm striving to get is going to allow me to do that I'm not doing right now? And this is where we get the opportunity to go back and revisit that value. What's the value that this training, that this commitment, that this new lifestyle I'm adopting is giving me? And who's going to benefit from that value? Because remember, it's not just about you. Yes, you're doing all the amazing hard work and you're achieving the amazing results. But when you achieve those results and you get that desired goal, Who else benefits from that? And 99% of the time, it's the primary friendship in a circle that benefit from that. So it might be your partner, it might be your children, it might be a friend. But they're also benefiting from that too, because all of a sudden you're a more confident person with more energy, with more passion, with more playfulness. And that is something, if you're embodied with that, that's something that you're projecting out there. And it's a beautiful gift that you can give to others that really doesn't cost you anything. And remember that our smile and our energy is infectious. So the more that we can be vibrating, you might say, in that energy, and that'd be something that I would talk to you about, is that vibration that you create through your energy. If you're holding that high at a stable level, right, and then you mix it together with a smile and the kindness in your heart, then imagine how that fills up when I walk past Mick on a footpath, or I walk past Dan or somebody else on a footpath, somebody that I might not even know, but I share a smile and bingo. That person feels valued, that person feels validated and seen. And that is something that we as human beings all need to have. We all need to know that we're seen, that we're appreciated, and that we're loved.
Yeah, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head with it's infectious, and you say it all the time. And anyone that hasn't heard Sadie say it, you're not listening carefully enough. Smile. But that goes to say, I mean, like you walk by someone, even you just put it, you say, you walk by someone on the street, and if you walk by them, and this is very New York for people who haven't been in the U.S., it's a very American thing. You walk by and their heads down. They don't even look at you. But if you walk by someone and they look at you, okay, it's a little bit more warming. If they look at you and they smile, and this is much an older thing. Most young people don't. They'll look at you. Their heads in their phone. They're looking down. It's a very negative vibe. It's like walking up to someone like this. If you're smiling, hey, it's much more open. You're giving off a positive energy that people are going to be attracted to, and that positive energy spreads. It's like doing something. You're giving. You say it all the time. Share your smile. Give it. So you're giving that positive energy to someone else. They're going to absorb that. It's kind of like giving someone like, a precious gift. They're going to, oh, okay, it's a good day. Maybe, I'll look up, you can start smiling. They have a little giddy up in their step, So it's totally worth, doing that. Steve, do you have any closing comments before we get into your regular closing? Some of your last thoughts that we have?
Some of my last thoughts is I've been on a journey for this last week. Some of you might know that I actually had the absolute honour of being in Tony Robbins' event, The Date with Destiny. And that entire mindset thing is something that I'm extremely passionate about. And when you want the best, you go to the best. One of the things I've learnt from Tony is that our emotions drive our thoughts, they drive our actions, and ultimately they drive our results. Now, our emotions and our behaviours and our attitudes, the responsibility for these guys lays entirely here. So even if you feel that you're out of control, the breathing exercise that Nick and I took you through tonight is something that you can use. Now, you can't exhaust this exercise. It is something that I encourage each and every one of you to actually embed. Get used to doing it. You can do it as driving a car. Just please don't close your eyes. But, you can sit at a set of traffic lights and you can take a couple of big, deep breaths and let the day out. And think if you got used to doing something like that between meetings, for example, or between calls, or, you've gone to the supermarket this crazy time of the year and you stood in a queue for a few hours, for an hour, half an hour or something. Anything that's pushing against you, grab hold of this breathing exercise and use it. See it as a metaphoric tool that you have on your tool belt that you use every single day. And know that it's your choice to use this. It's your choice to be able to feel this and to let it go. If it's not serving you, then I encourage you, don't carry it around. Our minds and the stories that we have within our minds are our habits. And half the time, 80% of what we do every single day is a habit. So consequently, we're in story mode that is a habit as well. So get to know your stories. And if your stories aren't serving you, then drop them in the trash can and start a new story. To give you an example, I was at the gym yesterday. You'll have a laugh at this one, Nick. I was at the gym yesterday and I'm walking away on the treadmill. I've got my earpods in and I've got a bit of music going. But the whole time I'm walking along there and I'm going, I am faith, I am gratitude, I am love, I am awesome, I am sexy, I am playful, and I am sassy, and I am Sandra Bartlett. And I'm doing this in the gym on the treadmill, and I'm doing this for about 25 minutes or so. And I'm laughing and I'm smiling. And I got off the treadmill and there was a gentleman on the rower in front of me. And as I walked past him, and he said, that's the best entertainment I've had since I've been coming to the gym. He said, this was amazing. I haven't stopped laughing for the last 10 minutes.
At the very least, your humor. At the very least, your humor.
The thing is, I left the gym feeling fabulous, apart from the fact that I'd worked out, but I had that mindset happening. So I left the gym feeling fabulous, but I had actually given that gift to somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
By being playful and not taking life too seriously. And that's
actually, you hit on so many things, but that's exactly right. Like, that's a subconscious thing. By saying that and repeating that, that's something that Max Garcia has talked to us about. You know what I mean? Like, you constantly repeating that, okay, and saying that, to yourself, it burns into your subconscious and it starts to make you feel that way. It's kind of the counter opposite to hearing that story all the time. If you're hearing the negative coming in, if you're not feeding in the positive, it's just negative. You gotta feed some positive in there. You're just going to be,
and like the person that needs to approve of you is you.
Absolutely.
Now
that's what I said before. Like I was saying, like, if you're giving value and you're putting your value in yourself and somebody else, if they're not validating you, if you're looking for your validation in someone else and not in yourself, you're going to get eaten alive. You're going to funnel yourself into a hole.
It's really interesting, Nick. It's really timely also that I remind our listeners that we alone get to choose whether somebody's comment about us is true or false. Now, if we feel that it's true, then yes, we will take it in. But if we feel that it's not true, we can actually let it go. And I often use this with my clients and I call it my oil skin. Now, I get up in the morning and I put my oil skin on. Now, why do I put my oil skin on? Because then I get to choose what I keep and what I dismiss. So if something's going to serve me, I keep it. I put it in the pocket. But if something's not serving me, I let it hit the oil skin and fall off. Because I have more evidence to support that I'm not that person or I'm not the opinion that's been handed to me. So I let it fall off. Now, I also use a metaphor. Think of yourself when you're 4 or 5 years old. You're that really lovely, shiny, hot little red convertible, right? So you're that Ferrari or that Corvette. Everything's shiny and there's not a ding on you and you're highly polished. And all our little ones are like this. But then when they get to our age, where we've been out and about there in the world a little bit, or in the car park and in the underground car parks and down a few bumpy roads, there's a few dings and scratches and scrapes on it. And that's the criticism, the judgment and the opinion of others that hits our Juco, hits our panel and dints it. Now, there's only so much of that we can take before we look back at the Juco and go, oh, wow, I'm not that shiny little red car anymore. But the thing that we can be is we can be that shiny red little car because it's the story that we tell ourselves. So remember, pop your oil skin on and you get to choose what stays with you and what lets you go, what you let go. Now, we walk around and there's many waste paper baskets as we walk around. Can I say to you, every now and again, go like that.
Tad a dump.
And just dump it. Take it from your heart and just dump it. If it's not serving you, don't carry it. On the path through life, we've got enough to carry, which is ourselves. We've got enough to carry. We don't need to carry the thoughts and opinions of somebody else. And can I just remind people that we all carry one of these things. How often do you plug that in because you've got a notification saying that your software needs to be updated?
Mm-hmm.
Really, isn't it? And we buy one of these and within 7 to 10 days it's outdated because the next one's out. Can I say to you, I turn 60 next year in 2021, and it wasn't until I was 53 years old that I realised I could update my software. So if I had limiting beliefs or standards and values that weren't serving me and propelling me forward to where I wanted to go, I could change them. And if I can do that, if I can update my software, can I give you guys the gift of updating your own software as well? And everybody that's going through the change at the moment, and I know there's a beautiful young lady in your community, Megan, who has gone through an amazing change over this last 12 to 15 months. Absolutely amazing change, both physically, emotionally. At the core, she's gone through an amazing change. How did she go through that change? She changed her story. She changed her limiting belief. She believed in herself. So she took the mirrors from going out here and accepting everybody, everything and anyone that was telling her anything, and flipped them straight out there because she put her oil skin on and she's decided now what she will accept and what she will reject. And can I say to everybody that if Megan can do this, if I can do this, we've watched Nick do this in the past as well. When COVID first struck, we watched Nick shed kilos. How did he do that? He changed his story. And he changed how the mirrors were reflecting. And if we can do this, can I say to you that everybody can?
That's so interesting because the funny thing is, when we first started, Sandra, we said how many weeks we've been doing this. If you guys go back to when we first started doing these, there was a much bigger guy sitting on this side of the screen than there is now, and it's that mindset shift that you don't want to be this person that you are, okay, that you're going to take the steps that you want to do, okay. And Dan brought it up a couple of minutes ago and made a post, and he said, he asked about, let's go to the new year and set new goals, okay. Now, I'm not going to open a can that we're going to open in January, that we're going to talk about in January, yearly goal setting. That's part of the, we're starting with in January, because, having goals is great. And I know you say that, Sandy, but I mean, and I know people that have, a New Year's resolution. Okay. How long do those last? Till the end of January?
You're lucky.
You know what the funny thing always is to me? The guys that go to the gym, okay, in January, the guys you see in the gym in January, it's like you see 50 new people in the gym. You're like, yep, okay, New Year's resolution, guys, love them, right? And then they slowly start. There's like 50 people in the gym on the beginning of January, and by February, it's just like. By the end of February, you're lucky if you see one or two people that started doing January, if you're lucky. Okay, it always falls back on the same people. Don't want to get too much into that, ladies and gentlemen. I am aware of the time. We're about to be under 40 minutes. Sandy, some finishing thoughts from you.
Some finishing thoughts for me. Guys, it's Christmas. Relax, be playful, enjoy each other, enjoy your family. But most importantly, there's one thing I want you to remember for the entire holiday. Your smile, guys, it's your responsibility. And this year, I want you to own it. I want you to wear it. But most importantly, let's share it just to let everybody know that I see you.
Thank you, as always, the amazing Sandra Bartlett, ladies and gentlemen. Remember, the last boot camps, or the last winter Wednesday workout is tomorrow, the 16th. The boot camp and Christmas party is on the 20th. If you're interested and you are not a part of it, please talk to your coach. Coach Dan and Kat and I will be around. Message us, get into it. Coach Megan, and Coach Sarah will be there as well. For everyone that's been wondering where they are, we're really excited to have them back in the mix. Okay. Thank you, Dan. Yes, I did get a new haircut. Love that you noticed that. Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Always the little things, right? It's not the Christmas ornaments, or we added a few more pops in the background. It's the haircut. No worries. Is there a few more gray hairs? Could that be what's going on? I have a daughter named Sierra. She's added those on quite regularly. Don't want to take too much time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time this Tuesday night. You have questions, post us up. Ask us. Sandy, as always, thank you. You're amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you. Come back on the 12th for Tuesday Night Mindset, Mental Health, and Mindfulness. I'm going to be working on getting Justin Priestley in. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for your time. Everyone, have a great week. Sandy, you're amazing. Thank you so much.
Amazing day, amazing night. Woohoo!
I love you guys. Thanks. Bye.